Hey there folks, you got to pull the carburetor tree off the Mariner 115. All four of them. It's a big beastie 4-cylinder, got one carburetor per cylinder. I'm going to make sure these things clean. Ever since Hammer's had this thing, I haven't cleaned the carburetors in it. We're going to pull it off, and since I got to do that, I'm going to bring you guys along. Stand by. $13mm 246 nuts, and I don't know, you can see down, we got 2 bolts right on the bottom too. You probably have to get that with a wrench, or if you can break it loose with a 1/4 inch. But 2, 4, 6, 8 fasteners total to get this housing off the carburetors. 1/4 inch. See if we can break it loose with that. Probably can. Oh yeah, all this stuff looks good. Once you take all the bolts loose from the front plate, there's 2 bolts in the bottom. The carburetor will come loose. You just pull the plate up, pull the plate up till it clears the front of the housing right here, and the bolts will come right out. Now the carburetor's loose. You just have to remember to start your bolts in the bottom of the plate here as you're mounting the carburetor back on. No big deal. I probably could have pulled the accessory plates off the front right there where the fuel lines and all that go through. I just didn't want to go through all that, so I just pulled the latch out of the way just in case it was going to get in the way of the bottom carburetor. I wasn't going to take any chances with that. But everything is loose here. We got the bolts out just fine. You may find a wire tie right there on the fuel line that you may have to cut to get this housing off, of which I do. So this has probably never been off. Trying to show you guys. I'll get a pair of side cutters in here. There we go. Cut one. That wire tie was holding the fuel line right there, and we got the front plate off. Now we got to do is pull the carburetor tree down. Fuel pump, if you follow the fuel line, you see the fuel pump line running up. All that looks good. Runs up into the top of the tree, and then the fuel lines trickle down to all the carburetors. I just pull all these off as one unit. Y'all stand by. And guys, all of your linkages here are just your snap-on ball and pivot linkages. Just take a flathead screwdriver, give it a little twist and pop it off. That just popped off the primary linkage. All the rest of these are just attached up here, and we'll leave them all hooked together when we pull the whole carburetor tree off. Fuel line here has got wire ties securing them on here, which is what we'll put back when we go back with them. I will take this fuel filter off. We will check it. I've got replacements if we need it. I'm one of these old school guys. I don't pop anything off that I ain't got to whenever I'm pulling this stuff down, because I don't think these carburetors are going to need kits. I think they're just going to need to be cleaned. They're in relatively great shape. I've just never had them off of this motor. I think now, with the primary linkages and all that, primary fuel line is loose. Folks, there's one more small. It's probably going to be a return line, fuel line. I didn't see it. It's a small secondary line. We're going to have to take it off. There we go. I'm checking as I come off of here, folks, to make sure there's nothing else on this carburetor tree that I missed. Yep. See, here's another that goes to a there Those wire ties are some tough jokers now. Go. All right, and that hangs right there in the way, so it'll be real easy to figure that out when it goes back. I swear it looks like these things very possibly had been gone through right before Hammer got this boat, but so they all come off as one unit. All right, head to the table with them. See these access ports here? This is the engine side of the carburetor right here. These brass access ports right here access one of the primary jets in here so that you can remove it. These things broke loose relatively easy all the way down the tree. So, but that's what this is. This is an access to get to your primary jet, one of your primary jets in each carburetor. Alrighty, then it just goes one at a time. I'm gonna make sure that we keep these in order, and then we'll pull the float bowl off each one of them. The biggest problems that you have with outboard carburetors is needle and seat sticking in the float bowl, and or one or either of your primary or secondary jets getting stopped up in the carburetor. We're gonna look at all that. Y'all stand by. Okay, my BRO peeps, and so if I'm going to demonstrate one carburetor, there's no sense in me bringing you along while I do this for all 4 carburetors, because it's the identical same carburetor on all 4 cylinders, same procedure for all 4 carburetors, things that we're going to check. Take the float bowl screws off. I've already removed the side access screw out of the float bowl. There was no gas in these carburetors. We had drained the gas before we parked it, and we also try not to run any ethanol gas. We are lucky around here to have access to non-ethanol gas, and so unless they just absolutely don't have it, that's all we run in this boat. It's a 97 Astro 97 115 Mariner, and it just runs better with the non-ethanol gas. Oh, maybe Just hadn't quite backed it all the way out yet. We really don't want to tear up no gaskets or anything like that. It sounded to me like it came loose really well. It did. So look how clean that float bowl is, boys. Job's going to be easy today. Look at that. There ain't one speck of trash in that float bowl. I may not have even had to do this, but we're going to check it anyway. We're going to make sure all the jets and all that are open and that everything is adjusted right. You don't know unless you pull it down. Hammer's done a real good job taking care of this thing. Okay, here you see your little wire right here where your needle hooks on to your float. All of that is moving well. You see that moving up and down? The needle is not stuck, it is moving freely. Well, we're going to grab a can of carburetor cleaner and start hitting all these jets and ports, making sure everything is clean and wide open. Needle looks good, seat looks good. Okay, like I said, this side port is to access your primary jet is straight down in there. I don't know if you're going to be able to see it because of the light. Straight down in here, this is your emulsifier here for your fuel. All right. I'm going to hit this jet with some carburetor cleaner. You see it coming out, coming all the way through here. No sense in pulling that jet out. That jet's wide open, so it ain't no sense in pulling it out. All right, guys, I'll prime the bulb. Babe, go ahead and hit the water. big a dang bug out of it. Well, there you go, folks. Basically, we got her ready to hit the water, be it the lake or the river. She's ready to go. We got to replace the batteries in it. We had a couple of trolling motor batteries. This is a 24-volt system, and so we need a couple of good trolling batteries, deep cycle, and a starting battery in here just to be dependable whenever we hit the water with this machine. So we're going to bring you guys along when we go fishing, folks. Y'all stand by. Hope y'all enjoyed the video. This is Wade Rush, host of the Bubba Roundtree Outdoors channel, and this has been a Getting the Boat Ready production. We'll see y'all next time. Bye-bye.